At the office, Sandra was notorious. She had a sharp tongue and an uncanny ability to find someone to criticize. I had just joined the marketing firm a month ago, still trying to learn my way around, when I became her new favorite target. It started subtly. During a team lunch, she smirked as I shared a story about a campaign I'd led at my previous job. "That sounds ambitious," she said, her voice heavy with mockery. "Are you sure you actually work there, or is this just another one of your stories?" I tried to laugh it off, to just let it go, but Sandra was relentless. Over the next few weeks, every time I mentioned my past work, she'd fire back with a snide remark. She'd lean over her desk and whisper to colleagues, loud enough for me to hear, "I bet he's just exaggerating." Who actually does that? At first, I thought ignoring her was the best approach. I told myself to stay professional, and maybe she would eventually stop. But her humiliation wasn't subtle. It was a daily, personal, and public assault. I started walking on eggshells, dreading every interaction. One afternoon, the office was buzzing as we prepared for a major client presentation. I was running through the slides with a few team members when Sandra strolled in, arms crossed. "So, the big shot who supposedly led campaigns at some fancy company is handling this presentation?" she sneered. "I can't wait to see this disaster." My face flushed, but I held my ground. "You'll see, Sandra. The client's going to love it." She laughed loudly, drawing everyone's attention. "Right? The client's going to love the imaginary expert we hired," she said. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole, but I stayed silent, letting her smug expression have its moment. Later that day, as I was wrapping up, the office phone rang. The receptionist called out to me, "Your visitor is here, Mr. Collins." Confused, I headed to the lobby, expecting a client. Instead, I saw a sharply dressed woman standing with an air of authority. She smiled as she saw me. "Mr. Collins?" "Yes, that's me," I replied, a bit cautiously. "I'm Helen Marks, your former supervisor at Brightwave Marketing," she said, extending her hand. My heart nearly stopped. Brightwave was the very company Sandra had ridiculed me for claiming to work at. Sandra, who had curiously followed me to the lobby, froze when she saw Helen. A flicker of recognition crossed her face, quickly replaced by pure panic. Helen turned her gaze to Sandra. "And you must be Sandra. I hear you've been speaking about my former employee." Sandra's confident smirk vanished. I didn't mean anything." Helen raised an eyebrow. "Really? Because I've heard you've been doubting his experience, calling it fake. That's quite unfortunate, considering this is the same person who led the award-winning campaign that increased our client retention by 40% last year." The words hit Sandra like a ton of bricks. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. A wave of relief and quiet triumph washed over me. "Yes," I said calmly. "That's me. I was part of that campaign." Helen nodded approvingly. "I wanted to come by personally to congratulate him on his new role. His reputation precedes him." Sandra turned pale, glancing around as if seeking an escape, but everyone was watching. A few colleagues who had overheard were now staring at her, whispering among themselves. I didn't know," she stammered, completely caught off guard. Helen cut her off with a polite but firm smile. "Let's focus on celebrating talent here, shall we?" I nodded, shaking Helen's hand, while Sandra retreated to her desk, her confidence shattered. For once, the office bully had nothing to say. From that day on, Sandra never questioned my experience again. In fact, her smug remarks were replaced with cautious greetings. She learned a valuable lesson. Confidence without knowledge makes noise, but true expertise speaks for itself. And sometimes all it takes is a single voice from the past to silence a room full of judgment. Thanks for watching. If you want a punchier, more cinematic version of this story, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.